everyone and welcome to our YouTube channel NeetTube. First of all, a very big thank you to all of you who all have subscribed, liked our channel, who have watched our video, and I'm sure you've gained some important facts on NEET, yes. And also a request to everyone others who have not yet liked or subscribed our channel, please do watch our videos, get benefited, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel NeetU. Today's video is going to be a continuation of the microbes and human welfare chapter. In the previous video, we were doing the bioactive molecules, and at the end I finished up with an introduction of the sewage treatment plant. So in today's video, we are going to complete the sewage treatment plant in detail, of course. And for introduction, please go to the previous video, but I'll just give a recap. So what is a sewage? We see the sewage treatment plant. What is a sewage? A sewage is anything which is basically referred to as municipal waste. That means what? Waste from the household, waste from shops, waste from household. Okay, all these waste, organic waste, mostly they contain organic waste. These all, along with water, some kind of metals, other component substances, comprises what we call as the sewage. And the sewage have to be got rid, okay? But we cannot, just get rid of them by simply dumping them into the water bodies. We cannot do that, right? So we have to treat them first. Okay, we have to treat them first, and then we have to process them. The treatment is a process, sequential process. Various processes are there together, which is called as the sewage treatment plant. So we're going to go into the detail of the sewage treatment plant today. Alright, so now when we take the sewage has to be treated. Why? Because we cannot simply dump the sewage. The sewage contains a lot of impurities. It contains pathogenic microorganisms. Pathogenic microorganisms are disease-causing microorganisms. They can cause disease. If you dump the waste in open lands, water bodies, they may pollute the water, the soil, and they may cause contamination, and they may cause various type of diseases. So it's very important that we should contain them. So in order to contain them, what it is done is that these are treated in sequential process in a particular plant. A plant is in huge areas. Okay, so this plant here, it is treated, and then finally what happens after the treatment? The toxic waste is reduced using natural microorganisms, using natural you can say reducing agents like microorganisms. All right, microorganisms, these reduce the waste, and finally the waste can be dumped into water bodies. Let us see what are the uses. Okay, so sewage treatment plant includes the treatment process of sewage. Okay, but so treatment process of sewage, it includes 4 steps. The first step, I told you, again, we can go back to the previous video. So what happened here? The first step is the preliminary treatment. It is the preliminary treatment. Now this preliminary treatment is the first step of the sewage treatment plant. Okay, it is the first step. Now this step is done in order to make sure that the sewage which is going to be treated, okay, it's going to be treated, does not block or interfere with the main processes, that is physical, secondary and tertiary processes. Okay, so preliminary treatment, what it will do, basically it will check for those substances that produce clogs, or that may block, or in short that may interfere, okay, that may interfere with the process. Interfere with what? Interfere with the main process of sewage treatment plant. Interfere with the main process. So in preliminary treatment, we remove the maybe cloth material, maybe huge, some kind of paper material, huge, all those substances which can block or which can interfere with the remaining processes. That means whatever goes for the primary treatment will will be basically the soil part, will be pebbles, and will be the water containing part. So preliminary treatment makes sure that the steps which will be followed, the treatment that will be followed is not interfered. Okay, so this is the preliminary treatment. Now we will go to the next treatment, that is the primary treatment. We will now see the primary treatment. The primary treatment is the second step, and it is also called as the physical treatment. Basically, because primary treatment involves removal of soil particles, grit, pebbles, stones. So basically, there is no involvement of microorganisms at this point. There is no breakdown of organic matter at this point. It is just separating the soil particles or pebbles from the effluent or the water part, the actual part that contains the organic component or the polluted part. The primary treatment involves two steps. The first step is filtration. The second step is sedimentation. Okay, so two steps. So this will be the first step and this is the second step. The filtration is a sequential process. That means the process occurs in a stepwise manner. There are various steps that will be followed here. The filtration basically involves removal of large and small particles. Okay, small particles are removed. Once this removal is done, the effluent then goes for the sedimentation process. This process is important. We will see why. The sedimentation is basically removal of grit. Grit is nothing but soil and pebbles, small stones, all these together called as the grit. The grit, this is separated in chambers called as the grit chambers. It is called as grit chambers. So once the sedimentation is done, suppose if it is done in a tank, okay, the sedimentation is done. After the sedimentation is done, we will get here, okay, we will get here two parts. One will be the pebbles or the grit soil particles that will be settled down, okay, and then we will have the watery part. This watery part above is called as the effluent, and here the part that contains the grit is called as the primary sludge. Okay, it is called as the primary sludge. The primary sludge can be removed and dumped out because it contains only soil particles, stones, pebbles. They don't have any organic matter that has to be broken down. If at all required, they have some kind of minor treatment done on the primary sludge, and then it is dispersed or then it is dumped out into the outfields or anywhere in the dumping ground, okay, because basically stored. What we are concerned is the effluent. The effluent is that part which contains water, which contains pathogenic microorganisms and the mostly organic matter. The pathogenic microorganisms, they cause diseases, and the organic matter are the ones that make the effluent more polluted. We cannot dump this effluent directly outside because why? This effluent needs treatment. The organic matter has to be digested. It has to be reduced. The pollution level of this effluent has to be brought down. Okay, and then the effect of the pathogenic microorganism also has to be reduced. All these has to be done. But these processes cannot be, cannot be done in this manner. Okay, they cannot be done in this manner, in the sense they cannot be done in primary treatment. All right. So this effluent now goes for the secondary treatment. Okay, this effluent goes for the secondary treatment where the effluent is treated with aerobic and anaerobic microorganisms and then further treated, and then after that, after further treatment, it can be released. That means what? The effluent is in the secondary treatment. Okay, the effluent is made less polluted. Okay, so let us now see the secondary treatment. We will now see the secondary treatment. So here the effluent from the primary treatment or the physical treatment, okay, that is through the process of sedimentation, goes for the secondary treatment. Now children, here secondary treatment is also called as, secondary treatment will be called as biological. Okay, it is called as biological treatment. It is called as biological treatment. Now, why biological? It is called biological treatment because this treatment is basically dependent on the microbes. Okay, it's dependent on the microbes. The microbes can be, okay, or microbes are aerobic microbes and anaerobic microbes. Okay, aerobic microbes and anaerobic microbes. You can see there. Alright. Now, what are these microbes usually? These microbes are referred to as the heterotropic microbes. Heterotropic microbes. What are heterotropic microbes? Heterotropic microbes are basically found in the water body. Specifically, you find it in the sewage, any water body, and these, they use carbon as a source of food. So basically speaking, in terms, if in any water body there is a large amount of organic matter, you'll definitely find the heterotropic microbes. The heterotropic microbes use these organic components, break down the organic components, utilize the components, the broken components as their food. Okay, and in the wake of that, in the wake of breaking down this organic component, what they do, they reduce the toxic components and make the water less polluted. So the biological treatment or the secondary treatment basically uses what? Heterotropic microbes. So the secondary treatment, we will go into the secondary treatment which occurs in a stepwise manner. So let us see the secondary treatment in a very much detail and in stepwise manner. So in the secondary treatment, there are various steps. Okay, secondary treatment involves many steps are there in the secondary treatment. So we'll see one by one all the steps. So what happened? The effluent from the primary treatment comes into the secondary treatment now. Okay, biological treatment. So it comes to the first step of the secondary treatment. All right, first step of the secondary treatment. Now, this secondary treatment, it involves, first step is basically agitation. Okay, agitation of the sewage, carrying out of agitation of the sewage and also reducing the BOD of the sewage. We'll see what is BOD. Okay, so what happens? The effluent is taken into a tank which is called as the aeration tank. Now, as the name implies, aeration, that means what? This particular step requires air because the microorganisms that will be digesting the organic component in this step are the aerobic bacteria or microorganisms. Okay, aerobic bacteria or microorganisms. So what happens? The sewage is dumped here. When the sewage is dumped, a small amount of inoculum is added. Inoculum, I will come back to the inoculum. As of now, just know that small amount of inoculum is added. This inoculum contains, Okay, it contains millions and millions of microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, millions and millions of microorganisms, aerobic microorganisms. Here, the inoculum contains millions and millions of aerobic microorganisms. Okay, they are kept here, and sewage is here. The effluent is here, and then air is agitated, continuously pumped in, so that the inoculum is properly mixed in the sewage. This mixing or agitation or pumping in of air results in the growth of the microorganisms, The microorganisms, more and more they grow, what happens? They start reducing the organic component. They start digesting what? Digesting the organic component. Start digesting the organic component. Alright, so here two processes are occurring. As the microorganisms are digesting their organic component, what happens? The bacteria and the fungi present in the sewage, the microorganisms in the sewage, what they happens? They get entangled due to the hyphae. Okay, the fungal filament gets entangled into the hyphae and develops into a mesh-like structure. In that mesh, the bacteria is trapped, and these all both remain together because of the slime, slime which is secreted maybe by the fungi or by the bacteria. So the slimy substance keeps the fungal and the bacterial filaments together, and it is called as the flux. Okay, it is called as the flux. So here two things are happening. First, the flux are being formed, and secondly, the digestion of organic component is being taking place. The organic component, the digestion of the organic component, okay, at the initial stage of this step, the BOD, biochemical oxygen demand, was at a higher level. Once the microorganism starts digesting this, the BOD, what happened? Started decreasing. Okay, started decreasing. Now, what do you understand by when we say that BOD is decreasing? BOD is decreasing means that when any sewage, see, all these concepts are there in the NCERT. They can twist and turn and ask you questions of level 2 and level 3. So you have to be very much, you have to be very much fluent with the concept here. Now just look into it, just listen to this very carefully. Okay, it's important. Now, BOD has decreased. Okay, the microorganisms oxygen demand has decreased. Okay, what indication that it gives? It tells that, first of all, BOD means biochemical oxygen demand. If the BOD of a water is more, that means the water is highly polluted. If the BOD of the water is less, that means it is less polluted. BOD more, highly polluted, that means more organic components. BOD less, the water is less polluted. Okay, so what happens here? BOD is less. Who made this BOD less? The microorganisms here. The microorganisms were present in millions, in huge number. The growth resulted in the increase of the microorganisms. The microorganisms, okay, they started utilizing the oxygen. So the oxygen demand was more. They started utilizing the oxygen to break up the organic components. The organic components were broken down, and the water was made, what? It was made less polluted. Okay, so if the BOD is less, it means that more microorganisms. Okay, it also means that the organic component which is earlier present in the sewage in high concentration has come to a lower level. That means the organic component have been digested. Okay, organic component have been what? Digested. Alright, and now the water is what? The water is less polluted. However, even if the water is now, when they check the BOD and they find the water is less polluted, can they dump it? No, this cannot be dumped, because why? Still some more, reducing of components has to be taken place. Okay, some more it has to be made less polluted, and then we can reduce it. Now, here flocks are also formed, and BOD water, the BOD is also less. So what they do now, they take this component, this effluent, okay, from the aeration tank. They take the entire effluent containing the flocks and everything, okay, into another tank which is called as the settling tank. Okay, settling tank. So in this settling tank, what happens here? The effluent will be here, okay, effluent will be here, and the flocks are allowed to settle down. This is the flocks. Okay, they are allowed to settle down in the settling tank. The flocks are allowed to settle down. Why this is done? This is done because there is a reason. Okay, why? Now these flocks which settle down in the settling tank, they are called as, they have a specific name. They are called as activated sludge. What are they called? They are called as activated sludge. So now this activated sludge, a small part of the activated sludge is taken out. A small part of the activated sludge is what? Taken out, and then it is put into the aeration tank as inoculum. So this activated sludge, okay, is actually the inoculum that goes into the aeration tank. A small amount of activated sludge goes into the aeration tank. The remaining activated sludge, only small amount of activated sludge goes into the aeration tank as inoculum. The remaining activated sludge is taken to another tank which is called as the anaerobic sludge digester. Anaerobic sludge digester. Is this clear? Yes, anaerobic sludge digester. Now, please don't forget, we still have the effluent. We will see what the effluent, where the effluent will be taken. Okay, so anaerobic sludge digester. We still have the effluent. We'll see what happens to the effluent, and we'll see what happens to the remaining activated sludge. Okay, so once now what happens, a part, as I already told you, part of the activated sludge goes as inoculum into the aeration tank to carry on the process, and the remaining activated sludge goes for the anaerobic sludge digester. Here basically what bacteria will work? Anaerobic bacteria. The anaerobic bacteria will digest the sludge. They will digest. So it is called anaerobic sludge digester. The anaerobic bacteria, methanogens, so many bacteria will digest and they will form. And what we get from here is the biogas. Okay. So biogas here. Okay, biogas. So this biogas can be utilized. Okay, we'll see in the biogas section what are the uses of biogas, what are the benefits of biogas. So this can be used as biogas. So what happened here? In the process of the anaerobic sludge digestion, the methanogens, they produce methane gas. Okay, methane gas in very high amount, and this methane gas is used as what we call as the biogas. So this happens with the sludge, activated sludge. Okay, now we still have the effluent. So we'll see what happens to the effluent. Okay, so here the effluent now goes for the tertiary treatment. It is not mentioned, but this is an extra point actually in NCERT. They have just said that it is directly dumped. Yes, it can be directly dumped because now the sewage is totally rendered less polluted. Okay, it is less polluted and all the organic components are digested. But for an extra precaution to make the water more safer before the dam, this is sometimes carried out. Tertiary treatment. Tertiary treatment here, what is removed? Here the nitrates. Nitrates are removed. Phosphates. Okay, these both are removed. These both are removed. Sometimes the water is also treated with chlorine. What is treated? Water is treated. Once this treatment is over, the water can then be dumped into the water body, or it can be dumped into places, open grounds, or it can be dumped into places where usually the sewage dumping is done. Because now this water, it's no more sewage. Why? Because the microorganisms, the pathogenic microorganisms are not there. Okay, very small percentage, it's almost reduced. The organic component is totally almost digested, and the water is now safe and less polluted. Right? So this is all about the sewage treatment plant. Okay, so the sewage treatment, here the sewage, when we talk about the sewage treatment plant, the Ganga action plant and the Yamuna action plant, the Ganga action plant, Yamuna action plant, these were like, these were methods to clean these mighty rivers of our country. These rivers were highly polluted. Okay, highly polluted due to human activities. They're highly polluted, but now they have made many such plans are there. They have been doing a lot of work in cleaning and have also been successful in cleaning these huge rivers, mighty important rivers of our country. So this was all about the sewage treatment plant, and we will see in the next video lecture. We will see the next section, that is we will talk about the biogas plant in